You're getting worried, yes indeed. I know exactly what you need. A little sunshine will make you feel okay. Now look here, give the blues a change. Find a sunny place. Go and paint your face with sunshine.
I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:36.
Excellent. Your minutes. Did I remember to send you the minutes this time, everybody? So I already found a correction myself.
Yes, you did.
Okay. I just realized I had meeting adjourned on the motion to authorize the purchase of the hypercaster, as I copied and pasted from last month. So I'll take that out and send in a correction version. Is there anything else on the one page of minutes?
I didn't see anything.
Somebody want to move the approval?
Okay, I approve the minutes of 9/21.
Great.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Reese is muted, so I'll second them.
Thank you. I think. Yeah. Request unmute. Well, I think when she's
And
ready,
she's
I'll
unmuted
unmute.
now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm here.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
We presume you approve the minutes as corrected.
Absolutely.
Great. Now I can tell Teresa likes Recreation Commission better than us because we got to see her on the screen on Monday night. Just kidding. Coordinator reports. Some keep canceling. And then, for example, tonight, the Fire Commission had a special meeting at 6 to, I think, basically to approve their capital budget submission. And I had Nancy lined up to cover it at 6 because I didn't know if they were going to be discussing at length. She was stuck in traffic, and I was burning dinner, so we didn't get it covered. But I don't think the FOI police are going to get after them. But that continues to be jumping on and off. The Veterans Day ceremony is going to be taking place in Center Building. So we might finally be able to use the sound system, the $20,000 sound system that we installed with Cable Advisory Council grant funds. And the internet that was in there, I was hoping to get the ability to plug in an Ethernet, but it turns out that the access to it is on the wall opposite where the camera is, high up on the wall where it won't get hit by basketballs. So we're going to have to work on getting internet that we can actually use if we're going to live stream from Center Building. And I don't know when that's going to happen. The big news is Carly, the Southern graduate, has already left for a full-time job at Yale New Haven, which is not what she really wants to do, but she didn't think she could afford to turn down the offer of a full-time job. Nick, who lives in Woodbridge, is working days full-time as a security guard in one of the elementary schools in Milford, and figures he will be available for meetings that start at 7 or later. Yeah. And let's see, Matt has been called in to work ad hoc, freelance he calls it, for News 12. Anna in Bridgeport, who has done some good editing for me, her husband came down with COVID last week, but she, then she's felt yucky. She was testing negative. She's still doing some editing, but her internet is so slow that she put in like for 3 hours for an 8-minute meeting. So I said, we're going to have to work on how we do this. For example, I probably won't send her any meetings that are less than an hour or more than an hour and a half. We have those. So she's working on the coupop from last Monday. Nancy, she got a better job. She'll be working at a better job after Election Day in the state treasurer's office that's not dependent on, what's the word? Patronage. It's not a patronage job. I think she's working on data, crunching data for the pension system. So I can go back to looking for more people after Election Day, I think. If we had just one more, then when we have four, it's sort of a struggle because everybody wants to do something, but it's hard to spread out the work evenly. And if we don't have enough people, then things don't get covered. So we'll work on that. Any questions on that? Budget's working out pretty much the way I wanted. This time last year, I spent more on myself and less on people, and now I'm spending more on assistants. So that part's working out okay. Just got the PO for the Telview Hypercaster, and so that's in the works now. And we still have a little over $5,000 in the capital account. We still have $2,000 for technical supplies and services. And that's it for my reports.
For help, you might want to, when he, I don't want to say retires. Yeah, retires.
Yes.
Jim Franco, will be potentially retiring in December, and we were I was talking about Govt, and he mentioned interest in it. And after he retires, he would actually be able to work 20 hours a week.
That would be wonderful.
So,
okay.
And he okayed me to talk about this, by the way. I'm
Okay.
not just throwing it.
Okay, well, to be explored then.
Yeah, so.
What would the process be? Does he mention it to Tony because he knows that it should be open?
You know, I don't even know what the process is, but he told me like I think this summer that he'll probably be retiring in
Okay.
December.
Should I talk to Jim about it?
Oh, he knows I was going to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I know.
I told him.
Okay.
So
No,
yeah, I would definitely talk to him about it.
Yeah, I dropped by talking about the things that went wrong with the Recreation Commission meeting with the owl. It's
okay.
there are no, I've been writing down steps by step. Okay, the owl needs to be the host, but you can send the host things back to the other account with the same name, and then things work. But it was getting tossed around among computers that night.
Yeah.
But we did get a recording up, and I think I sent you all the link in case you want to have a peek at it.
Okay.
I'm not entirely satisfied with the video quality of the owl, but it's at the step where it's possible at all, right? So
Yeah.
and the sound is really good in the room. Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a note. Jim Franco. Ask Jim Franco. The coordinator? That would make me more interested in hanging around more.
Yeah, he's very easy to work with.
Yeah, and he knows the town. So yeah. Okay. The business you do have to do is, well, or you could put it off till November. Approve your meeting dates. You could approve your meeting dates, and I would like to discuss guidelines for when we do hybrid meetings. That's the thing that's really bugging me right now, and equipment that we might consider getting for hybrid meetings.
Okay.
I think you said you wanted to stick with fourth Wednesdays.
That's fine with me. I mean,
Yeah. that work? Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought we agreed that that worked for everybody.
Yeah, do you want to make that a formal motion this month so we can file them with the town clerk?
I'll make a motion to permanently change Gadrock meetings to the third Wednesday?
Fourth.
Fourth Wednesday,
Wednesday at 7:30
except
PM.
at 7:30 p.m. Um,
All right.
except
I
for, yeah, there we go, yes. Okay, so Teresa moves it and 2023 meeting dates as presented.
Agreed. Second.
Okay. And all in favor? Da, da,
Aye.
da.
Hi.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Thank you all. Hybrid meetings. So I had a memo and then I started thinking things over and remembering the important part is, I think the important part is there somebody who's there who wants to do it? Not necessarily me. There may be young people who really would jump. Oh yeah, you need coop-op coverage? Sure. You need recreation needs to be hybrid? Sure. That may be our bottom line. One of the town staff people said, some of the town staff people who have been taking on more and more minutes writing for commissions are disturbed at the possibility of having more work. They definitely do not want to learn how to do the OWL as well. What has worked for Jerry for the Beach Road School Building Committee and for the selectmen is to have the OWL start the meeting, return the host privileges to Jerry, and then she can sit at her desk and take minutes and not have to be in the room with a lot of people, which she'd really rather not do anyway. And I think personally, it shouldn't bother me after all this time, but being in a room with everybody with their masks off kind of bugs me. And I'd rather not do it if I didn't have to. Younger ones that have been working for us doesn't seem to bother them as much. So Monday night, both Coop-Op and Recreation. Well, I'm going to talk to Pua and see if we can get the owl next time. And so I hid in the back room because I really wasn't ready to talk about it until I talked with all of you. Some of the other questions I have. Okay. For the selectmen's meeting, Tony Genovese's good reason to do it as an owl meeting was to hear from and see the presentation from the pool consultant about the Beach Road School pool. They would have had to pay to have him drive to Woodbridge. Easier if he could come in on the owl. And as it happened, David Bogle really, really hurt his knee and painkillers weren't helping him. So he was audible at least coming in on the WebEx and everything worked fine. Most of that meeting was recorded with the wall cameras and occasionally via WebEx and NDI getting just the part of the WebEx that mattered, that is the presenter and his photos. So you can't see that there's an owl twirling around capturing people. Yeah, what do I, now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, having a presenter where you really want to see something on the wall and they're in another state. That's a good reason to have the owl in there. Health reasons. Where do we draw the line at health reasons? Do we not draw the line? Is it? I have to say, without asking why Michael Helfenbein couldn't be in the room with everybody else, I kind of resent having to be there for the meeting and it's not convenient. If it's a matter of not being convenient, I kind of grit my teeth about that. Maybe I should just grit my teeth about that. I just work here. But those are the things I'd like to kick around. Do
I
we
want to go.
provide an owl? Yeah.
I wanted to go
Sorry.
back to when you said that the people that are taking the minutes. How much
Yeah.
more is there to, if they're there anyway, taking minutes? How much more is there to know to work the owl?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what problems people have with WebEx. I work around things okay, but a lot of people just they don't know why it freezes. They don't know why they can't hear anything. And I think it scares them. And I think for some people, having one more piece of technology that they have to handle is more than they want. The thing about having the owl and not having to be in the room makes it a bonus for them.
Right.
I think I've been thinking about, especially when my assistant was sitting there on his phone and not paying attention to the meeting when I was hoping he would adjust the projector. There should be a way to set it up so you set up the owl, you get it started, you get the host doing it, taking minutes from another room, or from home for that matter. And we can just be in the next room and wait to clean up after everybody. Or pay attention to equipment for sending the meeting out live in the case of a big meeting. That's if we have, we could probably get by with 2 people that way, but we haven't tried it that way yet. It's the feeling of one more thing to do. Coop up and recreation, for example, unless it was a special occasion, like I heard what I thought from the September recreation meeting was there was going to be a lot of public comment that they had to be available for. And that's why they had to have the hybrid meeting. Teresa, can you shed light on that? What moved them?
Yes. So I was not aware of any, well, yes, they did believe that members from WAC were going to be there.
Uh-huh.
And they were under, I don't want to say under the assumption, there was a feeling that members from WAC and parents and families from the aquatic team and members of their commission and even potentially Beecher Road School, but more Woodbridge Aquatic Club, that they wanted them to be able to fully participate.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them are obviously they're parents. It's it's a kid swim team, but so they wanted them to be able to participate, because they swim there, but there was no representation from them besides Mary, who's on the board. So
Okay. Was there one remote participant in the?
no.
thought
So
up on this.
Mary Avero is also their president.
Oh, okay.
So, but I was across the street, but I mean, the only reason, to be honest with you, I mean, if you didn't give me the option of tuning in that way, would I have still gone? Yes, because it was important to me. I would have showed up. Chris was there.
Mm-hmm.
Did I use it because it was there? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So to your point is, what is our trigger to use the owl? And I would say, if we feel like we're going to have a large amount of public comment, right? That would be my only trigger. I'm sorry to say, but if you have a health issue and you're just not feeling up to par, then maybe you're sitting out that meeting. Because if we didn't have the owl, would you be at the meeting? No, you wouldn't be.
Or you could phone in, as we ourselves have done, right?
Right, exactly. So I would think our only trigger truly to use the owl to justify the extra person power, right, would be if we feel that we're going to have a large public comment audience, or a public comment audience that we can't safely house in that room by distancing, or maybe it's you think potentially that due to the nature of it, maybe people would want a distance. You know what I mean? Say it's something that's about, I don't know, the senior center. You're going to have more seniors come out and
Right.
talk, right? So we would
Yep.
want to offer that to them. Maybe
Well,
potentially inclement weather, but we usually cancel for stuff like that. But
mhm.
I would think our true trigger would be if you're going to have a large amount of public comment. And that's why they did it, because they felt that there was going to be
Okay.
parents and
Okay.
that would be my
Well,
trigger for the owl.
I
Outside of that,
yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah. I think that's
justify
why
the
the
extra work.
selectmen. I think that's why the selectmen were eager to at
Mhm.
least, get it open in the. But in fact, nobody showed up for public comment at Board of Selectmen.
Nope.
So,
Well, yeah. And I mean, it makes sense for the contractor why they
mhm.
had it, because again, for
Yeah.
the engineering firm, they would have had to pay him to come out.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
But I think outside of that, I mean, I really think it needs to be, it's not just, okay, let's use this every single meeting. It's extra work.
Yeah.
So let me hop in and present a slightly different perspective on this.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I would like to see us have every meeting that takes place in Woodbridge take place as a hybrid meeting using the OWL and streamed online. I believe.
No,
No,
remembering
hold on.
that the owl is
Yeah,
for television, right? Okay.
I'm just saying that is what I would like to see us do. I believe that the OWL is an important tool to promote participation. And as such,
And all of them live.
yes.
Okay.
And as long as I've been on the commission, every year or two, we get around to reviewing what our priorities are. And our priorities, and right, it's Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, we've got our standard set of priorities. And because realistically, we have never had every meeting covered, and definitely not every meeting covered online, and never even considered having every meeting as a hybrid meeting available online, right? So we always have to make choices about which meetings we're going to cover, what the priority is for them, and so I view the aspect of using the OWL as one of the criteria in terms of which meetings we cover. And, if, and I'll take Coopop as an example, right? If Coopop says, we need to have every meeting be a hybrid meeting online using OWL, it's sort of like, you've always been sort of low on the totem pole. We don't say it to them that way, but that's sort of essentially what it is. And it's sort of like, well, if we have the resources available, we will look at that. But the resources are first and foremost Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and that list. And so at that point, it becomes really just a question of what are available resources for which meetings. And if there is an OWL available, because you've also got the potential situation where there may be a couple people or a couple boards wanting to have meetings at the same time. So it's okay. well, who gets to use the equipment when, right? Same question we've had to deal with before. We've just added a new variable on it, and we just treat that as another variable. If there isn't somebody from GATV available to set up a camera for a meeting, whether it's the old-fashioned way of setting up a camera or an owl, it's, hey, we don't have somebody.
Mhm.
And we've always said it in the past that, and if somebody from the commission wants to learn how to use the camera, and at that point it was just the camera, but now it can be either the camera or the owl. If somebody wants to learn how to use the device, we have a better chance of being able to cover it.
Mhm.
So that's sort of my thought on a way to approach it that is staying with historically how the commission has operated.
I'm from the thought that Alden is. If there's, I can't believe that there, on some of the commissions, that there wouldn't be a person who would be interested in learning how to operate it and do it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll use Sheila for the example. She's the one that wanted it. I can't imagine that she can't be the one that takes care of, the meeting that she's at.
And yet, when I set it up and showed it to her, she was surprised when I said, I have to go do something else.
Well, you know what? That I agree with Alden. That's what we, we have our
Yeah.
priorities and we do
Yeah.
what we can, but I think that's what we say. You wanted it, learn how to use it and do it.
Yeah, some of it I think is setting expectations, right? And these days, people are expecting GATV to go out and do everything for every possible meeting, and that has never been a reasonable expectation. And
Yeah.
it's an expectation that some people have held on to, but it's never been a reasonable expectation. And adding additional technology makes that expectation even less tenable, unless there are other people who can handle the technology.
Yep. They find it hard to find somebody on their commission that wants to take the minutes sometimes.
Right.
But it's yeah.
Yeah.
If I tell them it's easier than taking minutes, or if you have the recording, then you can write your minutes more easily, which is what the town hall staff finds. They say, "Boy, is that on YouTube yet? I need to take the minutes." Which I don't know. Maybe it's the partisanship of town hall staff. We try to hold each other up.
Yeah, and not to go off topic, but with the latest version of Premiere Pro, it has an auto transcribe. And I've used that
Yeah.
for some various things, and it may well be that, yes, if you record it, that way, is it Anna down in Bridgeport or whoever, whoever processes the video can process it and send an auto-transcribed version.
Mhm.
And the auto-transcribed version needs editing, but for my experiences, I found it easier to use an auto-transcribed version than to write the minutes just from stopping and starting a video.
Yeah.
And so that aspect of it's easier than doing minutes also has it may be a way of making minutes a little easier to do.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that. Can I stick in a funny story that
I
barely
will
has to do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'll
have.
just remind people I've got a hard stop
Yeah.
in 20 minutes, but
Okay.
yes.
The topic is closed caption. Artificial intelligence closed caption. I've been trying to make it better. They suggested I adjust something. At the last Board of Finance meeting, they went through their process of electing officers, which they do annually. And the first motion was to nominate Matt Giglietti for chair. I watched the live closed captions go up and it went magically ID. Magically ID. So I said, okay, I'm going to have to fix this later. I went into the module for editing it and it was Magical Eddie. He's a cousin of Crazy Eddie, but he's magical. Anyway, that's the story. That's it. So I'm passing it on to the people who wrote the software, just so they know. Okay. If we expect large public comment, perfectly reasonable. If we, okay, so if COPOP requests it, and I don't have somebody who's going to go in at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock and set it up for them, then I can ask them if somebody wants to learn how to do it. Oh, COPOP has our old friend Allison there. She was there in person and not, not rushing home to her kids. And she was very happy to say hi. She's also working in the registrar's office now too. But she might like to learn how to do it and ease Tony's fears about it. Can somebody learn how to do it? I don't think we have to write these down because I figure they're going to be changing as we go along anyway. But this gives me something good to work on.
Yep,
So-
that's exactly my thought. If they want it and you don't have the person available, the question is, do you have someone who will learn, wants to learn how to do it? So
Yeah.
it can happen. That's my
Okay.
thought.
Yeah.
And I'd say that, again, this sticks with what the policy has always been about recording meetings. We're just including
consistent.
it to cover hybrid meetings. And what was the other thought I was going to throw in on that? And that changes because we are going to be, over the next few months, I imagine, learning new tricks on how to make it easier to use.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it may well be that the discussion we're having now becomes a very different discussion next February or March.
Sure. We'll keep that in mind. Is it okay to move on to equipment I've been looking at to make this all possible? Because we should probably get another laptop. We've been using, a laptop for, okay, when we did the Board of Selectmen meeting, I brought it in my own laptop to connect with the OWL. And it didn't have NDI on it. I think you were worried about NDI on being on all machines, Alden. But I think as long as it's on WebEx, it can be received on the laptop that we usually use that has NDI and pulls everything into the TC1. Yeah, somebody like Matt works on it very easily. Somebody with fewer gamer skills might like to have somebody alongside who can take care of the twiddling with the controller for the wall cameras. But I actually thought the the October Selectmen's meeting really came out. It had the information, the visual information that the citizens needed to follow what was going on between the two modes. The owl was just another camera to use among the many. But okay, so a laptop. I looked at laptops that are between $500 and $600 that should be adequate. Our IT consultant really thought that if you're going to be sending out video, you really should be using an Ethernet connection. The last couple, we just used the wireless in the room, which wasn't the wireless that's publicly available to everybody. So I might put off getting another Ethernet cable because it would have to be on the floor alongside the wall where the doors are, and that means another tripping hazard. So I'm looking at like a laptop that's $538 in some sense. That's with our discount. Might get 2 of those because if Nancy's going to be doing any remote recording from home, she would like something more up to date than the Windows 7 laptop that she has. She's finding it slower. I don't think she cleans out the hard drive much, but and she got tripped up by Windows updates. She's of the Apple line. Okay, so there was that. I found a longer cable to go between the OWL and a laptop. Was cheaper when I ordered it from OWL Labs than anything I could find on B&H. So I ordered one that should be in later this week, and I'll test it some more. I was reading directions. I think I'm going to check with Tony to see if they have the module that makes the projector wireless. I think we can go with that for a while, and if we're having hybrid meetings right and left, then we can talk about getting a big monitor. Right now, I think Beth was surprised that we had to turn off the lights to see people on the screen, but they were only there for a little while anyway. Most of the use of the OWL was Jerry Shaw and David Vogel being able to speak to everybody in the room and being able to see everybody in the room too. So that all was good. 2 laptops, and I asked Anna if she would like to have a better laptop for editing, and she said no. She just recently required a good one and was very happy with it, but she might like another monitor of her own. Have a second monitor to look at, which would run. We could get a 24-incher for that looked like it was pretty good for $291. So what was I looking at? I didn't add up everything. I could put together a better list of what I think we can spend and what it would leave in our budget lines for you another time. If you want to do that in November. I don't know if anybody's in a hurry. Basically,
well, the requirements for what is needed is not going to change, correct?
to do it, okay, to do a hybrid meeting in the room, it would be very nice to have a second laptop there. That's
Yep,
the
so that's a given.
that's the most important thing, and that would be on the order of $550 altogether. We'd probably get free shipping.
Well,
if you could approve.
I think we should approve it and go forward.
Okay.
Why? If that's what's required, that's what's needed.
Okay.
I also feel that if that woman needs a better laptop to do the work from home, again, I'm all for that too.
Do you want to put a bottom line on how much it would cost? I could. Okay, it'll be less than $2,000 altogether. Probably more on the order of less than $1,500. Do you want to make a motion that not to exceed?
Sure.
So
I make
then
a motion
what
to
are,
exceed $1,500 for the 2 laptops that we are approving.
And a monitor?
2 laptops and a monitor.
Yep.
Not to exceed $1,500.
Second it.
Thanks. I think that'll work out well.
Yeah.
Okay, and you all vote to approve?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Okay, last thing to think about for next time is budget submission. Tomorrow there is an online webinar because all departments are asked to submit their budgets in an online format, sort of like the It probably has to do with the budget book that they have online now. And let's see, when Board of Finance discussed guidelines, they said, well, it's good to know, what can they cut? What services would have to go if they cut, and that sort of thing. What's your zero budget? What's your less than zero budget? Just so they know what the arguments are. So you all can think about that. I think at this time of year, you never know. Next
It
year,
seems,
the minimum wage will be $15 an hour, and I would like to hike a starting pay at $1 above that. So I'll bring that to you next month.
and I'll say that, especially given the discussion we had earlier this evening around the owl, that we probably need to be looking at having sufficient staff budgeting for more staff for hybrid meetings. And
Mhm.
given the interest in that, that's probably a pretty defensible position. And then we have the issue of just finding the people to do it.
Right. Yep. Next step.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have for you. If you have anything you want to discuss at the next meeting, I'll stick it on next month's agenda. Otherwise, I think we should free Alden to go unless there's something else.
No, I think we're good. I'm good anyway.
Okay.
Okay, then do we have a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn at 8:18.
Thank you. That's probably by consensus, isn't it?
Yeah.
I gotta run home. Gotta run home to my kids.
Oh, okay.
Everyone have a
safe.
good night.
Be safe, Teresa. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
Good night.